Oh no, what have we done? Why did I let these two sign up? Why? Why? Oh, for God's sake. Okay. In the top right, playing as the brown Scorpion Cell, we have Dark Emblem playing as his girlfriend, his teammate. Playing as the yellow Scorpion Cell, we have MisterCuck, which is Kurosaki. Their opponents, we have as the purple USA, we have SW Singh. His teammates playing as the lime Latin Confederation, we have HJ. Now the SW people here, I imagine, are very sober and not intoxicated. The Rutte Fanbois, they're shit-faced. I know full well, normally I would take insult to that, but considering it's Emblem and TY and they explicitly entered up as a joke, and they haven't dubbed the fact that they're shit-faced on me at the last minute, I don't really care at this stage. So... letting them sign up was probably a bit of a disaster, but hey, it made a nice clean bracket for me where we didn't have one team left over. So you know what, whatever. TY placing Beacon there, letting his bring awareness to the conscript team, as I believe HJ is the one to take the veteran academy. Interesting choice there, considering that you'd think it would normally be better used on GIs rather than on conscripts, but 40% tankier conscripts maybe isn't a bad call considering they're cheap as fuck and they explicitly live to serve as cannon fodder. So who knows, maybe it'll work out. TY having claimed his Tech Veteran Academy as well and is now starting to pump out initiates in response to the conscript ball. No tech reinforcement pad in tournament 2v2, which is a bit of a blessing, because usually tech reinforcement pad is well, it's a bit bullshit really. Here we are. No players having moved their MCV at all. Singh going for the much more conventional base crawl towards his second ore pit there, as I imagine he'll continue to base crawl towards the gems here. It looks like he's sending out the engineer here to capture the tech aeronautics, which is an interesting move. Could indicate that he'll be leaning heavily into Rocketeer Warhawk spam, which would be a fairly fair call. Against speeders en masse on this map, it might work. Might work. But we are yet to see that. As we see Emblem here, sending a refinery here. Looks like he's actually kept most of his somewhat sanity, and doing a fairly conventional base crawl over here with the war factory placed all the way over there in a relatively safe position. Single Terror drone out here, although that's been out for a while from the HJ. As we see the second refinery down for Singh. It looks like TY is moving to make his move on the opponents here, although that conscript map ball is quite sizable. I think the conscripts might actually have that engagement. Emblem, sorry, is coming down here to support as well, pulling back. Being relatively conservative here, it looks like it's just a show of force to keep the Soviet player contained and paranoid. Whether or not that'll work is another matter entirely. Economies here, all fairly standard early game economies, nothing too special. All players not really richer than 2,000 here. The richest player on the board is actually, no, it was Emblem, but now it is the HJ. So it was an Emblem TY. Other than that, a lot of action here. We're seeing the two Mantis tanks come down here for TY. As we see the first Storm Child and its veteran as well. Minimal AA, but Storm Childs aren't enough to take down a single Mantis tank. There is a second one on the pad, as we see what looks like is going to be a large amount of Guardian GI IFEs, although only 3 of them are loaded, and there's only one GGI left, so Singh looks like he's starting to get a bit desperate here, as action kicks off on the top here. The conscript back off and fight off. It looks like the veteran initiates here, as Emblem tries to fold in on them. Mantis tanks get a couple of good crashes before La HJ gets the scatter command off, and it looks like whilst those crashes did inflict some heavy casualties, it's not as bad as it could have been. And it looks like LaHJ and his ally here are going to be able to start fending off this attack. Initiate's coming up, sentry gun is demolished here. Frontline Raider just highly exposed, but that wall of conscripts and this bunch of Jaguars tanks are in a position to just clean up. TY's initiate Emblem's ground initiate blob here could just get crushed over. And it's the same case for TY's as well, as it looks like Storm Children take out another Mantis tank. And they're able to claim the defense back on hand, but the Rutte Fanbois still hold the initiative here. I'm trying desperately hard to be serious, but it looks like TY takes the opportunity here, almost gets the radar, does get the radar, and that is going to be a significant setback for LaHJ, being very bold with that radar placement, despite the fact that the enemy are on your front doorstep. Could start to be the SW teams of Super Angel fall into grace here, as simply more initiates and more Mantis tanks crop up. Stinger's being used in an anti-infantry role here, just simply because there aren't enough initiates here. TY's force being repelled, but Emblem starts going into the attack here. That is a lot of Jaguar tanks. I don't know why LaHJ doesn't go for the crushes here. They could be really invaluable. Really big missed opportunity here. Still doesn't work on rebuilding the radar, goes for another refinery, which makes sense considering his economy is in fact in the gutter here. As we see the Jaguar tanks move out, it looks like they're going to try and go for a counter push here on TY in an effort to try and at least do some damage back rather than be bottled up. And it looks like TY not completely ignoring it though. He is on Pandora Hub, but he's not making any adepts. To be fair, he doesn't have the money for that. But he is building a sizable archer blob there, as we keep LaHJ contained in his base, unable to expand out to his next war field here. See another set of Storm Children moving out on the field here. God knows what they're going to try and snipe. It could just be trying to cause power plant damage to depower the enemy. Or no, they're just after more Mantis tanks. Which is a fair enough play. It looks like these two are out to try and scout. Are they after the speed? Okay. I don't think those Storm Children have any ammo. Meanwhile, Speeders here just cleaning up these Jaguar tanks. It doesn't look like there's actually been any infrastructure damage apart from a mildly annoyed Pandora hub. Beacon detected goes down. We're seeing Tanya IFV now on the field for Sync here. And it looks like Emblem is not in a position to counter it. It may just be a purely IFV based force, but that Tanya IFV could still very much be rough. We've got LaHJ coming in to support the push as well. Those speeders really need to focus out the Tanya IFV. They almost get it, but they're chased away by a couple of flat troopers. Tanya exits the IFV. We don't see any kind of counterattack here from TY's forces. As oh no, he's TY moving out now. Tanya being focused out by the speeders here, but speeders are not anti-infantry. Gatling cannon kills Tanya, however, and it looks like the main threat here is now revolving around onto the conscripts and Jaguar tanks, but the Ghost Miners come in for the crutch clutch here, as it still revolves mainly around IFEs. These speeders need to get back into the fight and start cleaning things up. We've already lost a war factory. It looks like we're going to lose the bioreactor here as well. Brute comes out, as it looks like that seal is now being chased by Spooks. The Spooks move away for some reason, and they've now been ordered back into a bioreactor as this barracks is about to start being C4'd. C4 is away, but it looks like, yep, Spook eats the seal, but not before the barracks will go down. Counter-attack here in progress from TY. Although it doesn't look like it's going to start gaining any ground. The tier 3 units have indeed hit the field, as elite conscripts go into the fray, but they are going to get massacred by the initiates here. Jaguar tanks try to get a couple of threshers, not juicy enough, however, as more speeders come in order to try and clean up the mess here, but there are simply too many. Another Tanya IFB out on the field here, as neither of these players have radar. Emblem doesn't even have Pandora Hub, which is not a surprise considering he's shit-faced. Tanya IFB does indeed go elite. Emblem depowers himself with the radar here, as this bioreactor is completely empty. Just needs to stick a couple of spooks in there and the problem will be solved. Tanya IFV is destroyed and there is no Tanya left. It is now free real estate for the speeders here, as it looks like speeders proving to be the ultimate counter to Tanya IFV for the Scorpion Cell players. It just depends on the fact that only one of the team can actually produce speeders. Speeders take down another Abrams here. One speeder has gone veteran. TY being very careful with the 4 speeders he has under his command. We've got a single invader out here on the force. As another Abrams is cleaned up, the IFV is going to go down. And the Abrams dodging. Oh, Mercury Strike clobbers one speeder, but there is another one to replace it almost immediately. A couple of speeder strikes there. Accidental deploy here from the Adept as Storm Children come in to snipe a couple more. Terror drones rock up and it looks like they're just going to go ham on the brutes and clean that up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. HJ having actually recovered his economy, now being able to base group, working again on his radar dish, whilst USA sits quite comfortably on tier 3, but with a relatively safe economy, having mined out this ore field, now long distance mining here. Rocketeer action taking down a couple of UFOs. There is a lot of Rocketeers, you're gonna need more than 3 invaders to handle that, but not sure if Emblem knows that. Emblem working on Pandora Hub, as TY works on getting his chem plug. More Abrams here, with the only AA support being the Rocketeers. The invaders looked like they wanted to go in and kill Tanya IFE, hesitated, didn't go in, probably for the better. If they had committed, they would have been lost for nothing. Speeders here continue to bully the conscript blob, as it just looks like, I think what happened here is that Emblem forgot which tech building allowed him to make speeders. He had brutes, which meant he went synthvault when he didn't really need it, and well, there we go. Invaders picking off Rocketeers, but they sit stationary, as it looks like HJ is again on the attack here for TY. As USA simply cleans Emblem up. Actually calls GG, there we go there. And has now been defeated, and TY follows suit.